Hello, and welcome to episode 74 of Daryl's Show Your Work. In this episode, I'll be looking to exploit the SSH protocol in order to capture a flag. All right, so as I give in any of my videos where I'll be doing some offensive security or hacking of any type, I just want to give a disclaimer that this is for ethical and research purposes only, and any malicious actions that may come from someone directly or indirectly come from someone watching my video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, with that said, let's get started. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to find out what my IP address is. And just to give a high level overview of what SSH is, the secure shell, it's a file transferring well, it's a secure connection protocol. So it's a more secure option over clear text protocols such as FTP, HTTP. It can be used for various purposes and can be run in conjunction. Excuse me, it can be run in conjunction with several protocols to secure those clear text protocols. For example, um, um, SFTP or HTTPS, having that extra layer of security over those. So they're running and establishing connections in a secure manner. So I'm going to be trying to exploit that protocol here in this video. All right, so right now, it looks like my IP address is 192.187.170.2. All right, so I'm going to do a ping sweep to see who else see who else is on my local network in order to find a target to see if they have an open SSH port. All right, so I'm going to say 192, 187. That's 170 and 0/24, giving it my CIDR address. And what this is going to do, it's going to scan the entirety of my local network to see what other hosts are up and running besides myself. All right, so I'm two. One is more than likely the gateway. So three looks like it qualifies for us to target. All right. So now I'm going to start up the metasploit framework and begin some recon activity to be able to enumerate more on this machine to see if the port is open, to see what version of secure shell that is running, and then from there come up with some ways that I could try to exploit it. All right. As always, combining steps here. So I'm starting up the PostgreSQL database along with metasploit framework, so I don't have to give it two different commands. All right, so it looks like we're in. Just waiting for it to load. There we go. All right, so I'm going to create a workspace for myself. I'm going to say workspace -a, and I'm going to call this SSH enum since we're enumerating this machine for SSH session. All right, and then let's see, just make sure I'm in there. Okay, so then I'm going to let's search for first, you know what? Before I search for anything SSH related, I want to do a first I want to see what actually what protocols is our friend at .3 running. And then from there, I can start looking up modules to try to run against it for further enumeration. All right, so this is going to scan. This is going to allow me to this is going to allow me to use a port scanning module, which I could then target, which I could target the machine, and see what current ports are open there. It's an alternative to using something like an nmap. It's just a different way of doing recon. And I forgot to record the IP address, so let me do that here. So then I need to set that as a global parameter. All right, then let's see, go to mouse pad. All right, let's copy that. All right, so I'm going to set that as a global parameter, so it automatically, no matter what tool or module I use here in the Metasploit framework, it's going to set our target address as a remote host automatically, and I don't have to keep putting that in there. All right. All right, and then, all right, so now, let me go to show options. All right, everything's good to go. All right, so I'm gonna hit run. All right, so it looks like we have port 22 open, which is good because that's what I wanted to target. That's the SSH port and 22 and nothing else. All right, so now I'm free to kind of dive into some more SSH specific enumeration now that I know that port is open on the target. All right, so let's see. The first thing I want to find out, let's see, let's do a search. I want to find out what version of um, of SSH is running. So I'm gonna do search type, and I want an auxiliary. I'm going to use an auxiliary scanner here, and I want it to contain the name SSH. All right, so I'm looking for version. So if we look here at number 15, it looks like this is exactly what I'm looking for. Excuse me, SSH version scanner. All right, so I'm just going to type in use 15. All right, and then we just go to show options just to make sure there's no other parameters I need to set. All right, so our remote port is already set to 22 by default since this is a SSH related module, and of course our remote host is set to the target address since I set that as a global parameter. All right, so it looks like I'm good to go. So I'm gonna type run. All right, so we have a lot of information here. We have some different encryption algorithms that it's showing me here, and hold on, let me go down. Went up too far here. All right, so it's just giving me hold on, let me see. Scroll down a little bit more. Okay, so it's giving me the basically it's security key information. All right, and then I can see the version here. All right, and then it's listing different types of encryption mechanisms here, and it even tells me which encryption mechanism is a weak elliptical curve um, algorithm. All right, so if I wanted to use something that was specific, version specific to target SSH, I could. But in this instance, I think I want to just do a good old fashioned brute force. All right, so let's type in that search again, that auxiliary search. And so let me see if I can find a log. Usually most brute force modules have the protocol name of login. So let's see if I can find that from the list. And we can see here number 8. I do have that here. So it says SSH login check scanner. All right. So what this is going to do, it's going to use some word lists for, and in this video, I'm going to use word lists for both the username and the password. I know my previous video I just used that already had the username. I used the root account. This time I'm going to use a word list for to try to for this to try to brute force both the username and password. All right, so I'm going to say use 8 since that's the module that I want to run against this. All right, so I'm going to go to show options, and I already know there's a couple of things I need to set. All right, so then the first thing I'm going to need to set is the user file, and then I'm going to need to set the pass file, because that's where I specify the word list that I want to run against this server, as far as the metasploit guessing those passwords against its set of known common usernames and passwords. All right, so I'm going to first say set user file. All right, and our word list is located user share metasploit dash framework data word lists, and it is called common users.txt. All right. Next, I'm going to set the pass file. So set. Matter of fact, it's a much quicker way of doing that. Yeah, just make some adjustments here. Okay, both word lists are in the same directory. So just change this to pass file, and then of course the word list document is going to be different. So this one is called common passwords.txt. All right. And let's see, I'm also going to, looks like verbose in this instance, verbose is already set to false, which is good, because if it wasn't, when the brute force is happening, it's going to show us every failed and every successful attempt, and we'll be sitting here all day as it goes through every entry in the word list. All right, and we don't want to do that. And another thing we want to do is, I see here, this is set to false, which I need to change, is to stop on success. And basically, what this is going to do, this is going to stop when the first time it finds a successful pairing of username and passwords. It's going to stop this the scan, which we want. Again, we don't want to be sitting here all day for it to keep going despite it already finding those successful combinations. All right, so I'm going to say set stop on success. I'm going to set that to true. All right. And now, and another thing is, when we're running a module like this, I can either type run or I could type exploit. So this time I'm typing exploit. Oh, maybe, let me see. One or more options failed to validate. Okay. Ah, I see. I see. I see. I fat fingered the name of that directory. So let's go back here. All right. Let's just correct that. All right. Then I need to do the same for pass file, since this is a modifier of what I use for user file. See, everything else appears to be good. All right, let's try to run exploit again. All right, so we see Metasploit telling us that it's starting to brute force. So we just have to wait for a few seconds and to see what it returns back with. All right. So it looks like we have a successful combination of sysadmin and the password being Hailey. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to test this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of the metasploit-framework. And let me see. All right, let's do what it says. R-Y. All right. So let's try to use this combination here. So I'm going to say SSH. All right, the username is sysadmin. All right, and then we're going to, let me paste the, all right. And we said the password is Hailey. All right, and looks like that worked. So let's see what I can do now that I'm in here. So I'm going to run a few commands here just to confirm my connection. So I'm going to say, who am I? All right, tells me I'm sysadmin. And let's see, I want to see what groups does sysadmin belong to. So I'm going to say group sysadmin. All right. Oh, well, I forgot the S off of groups. All right, let me see. There we go. So sysadmin belongs in the sysadmin group. All right, let me see. I'm going to try to find out what operating system that I'm using here. All right, this command is going to cat out to me or display for me what version of operating, well, not what it's going to show me the operating system that's in use. All right, so I'm using an Ubuntu operating system. All right, and let's say I want to know the version of that operating system. Say uname -r. Oh, just take that out. Okay, let's see. All right, and so that gives me the version of Ubuntu that I'm currently using. And let's say I want to know what other accounts are on here. If I want to do some account enumeration, so I would say cat etsy and then passwd. All right, and we can see we have several different accounts here. We see we have a sysadmin account. We have a Rudy account, a demo account, an auditor account, and a non account, an administrator account, and a diag account, and all of them are using bash shell as far as the command line. All right. Let's see now. Let's say I wanted to remember we're doing a capture the flag here. So if I wanted to see if there's any file here named flag, I could just do find \-name and then look for anything that has the word flag in it. All right. All right, got a bunch of permission denied, but then it did return back to me. Indeed, there's a file called /flag. So let's cat that file and see what happens. And voila, Got the flag. All right. So looks like I was successful as far as compromising that SSH protocol. So the thing to remember is, even though you're using a secure connection such as SSH, it can still be compromised because of the use of a weak username and password. So sysadmin is a pretty common username, okay? And then also they gave it the name of they gave it someone's name. So I guess Haley's a pretty common name. So you want to make sure that even with using a secure connection like SSH, that you always add some level of complexity to the password, and of course to change it as frequently as possible. All right, so to give a high level definition of what I did here, I first was able to find our target by doing a ping sweep, and once I did that, I loaded up the metasploit framework. Then I did some recon actions by finding out what ports were open and verify that port 22 was open, which then enabled me to then look up some modules, which I can further enumerate it by seeing what version of SSH was running. But ultimately, I decided to go for the low hanging fruit and try a brute force against the login credentials of the SSH protocol, which I was able to successfully find in the form of sysadmin and the Hailey password. I tested out this connection by going in, establishing the SSH connection with those credentials, and then I was able to start a successful session with the sysadmin account, SSH session with the sysadmin account, which then led me to being able to execute various commands on the target system, and specifically being able to find a flag, which you can see here. And the flag can represent sensitive information. Okay, so if I could have typed in any sort of information, so let's say I knew that my target, they process social security numbers, so I could have wrote SSN or Social Security instead of flag, and seeing what came back. And if they're already using weak credentials as far as their naming convention, there's probably a high chance that they're not being very discreet with how they're naming their folders in their directory. So again, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, share your work. And until next time, take care of yourself, and God bless.